Former world chess champion Vasily Smyslov is considered to be one of the greatest chess players of all time and also one of the greatest chess tacticians of all time. Some even say that he's even better than Mikhail Tal. Yes, he was that good. Of course, you will be the judge of that. Today we are watching the game from 1956 between Vasily Smyslov, who was playing as black, and his opponent playing as white was Wolfgang Uhlmann, a chess grandmaster from Germany. In this game that lasted only 18 moves, Vasily Smyslov created a spectacular tactical attack in the middle game almost from the opening, and white was simply unable to continue the game and he was forced to resign. So really exciting game, and I'm sure you will love it. So without further ado, we will go straight into this game. Wolfgang Uhlmann opened the game with d4. We have knight to f6 for black, c4 for white, and we have e6 on the board for black. Game continued with knight to f3 for white, and b6 is on the board. That means that we are in Queen's Indian defense. White continues with g3, so he also wants to fianchetto his white squared bishop. Black continues the game with bishop a6, so in this sort of position sometimes black can play this bishop on b7, and sometimes like this in this here position black can play bishop a6, and right now immediately this pawn is attacked. So white's response is b3, of course protecting this pawn, and right now black is ready to strike in the center, and Smyslov does it with d5. Game continued with bishop to g2, and right now another common theme in this sort of openings is of course a bishop b4, which was played in the game. We will now go one move back. If you are wondering why black couldn't play d takes on c4, well, because right now white has this unpleasant knight to e5 move with the attack on this rook, and this is not good obviously for black. Although computer evaluation after this trade and exchange gives slight advantage to white, this is still not the best response that black can play. So that is the reason why bishop b4 is played, right now checking this king. And right now white decided to play knight f to d2, which is not the best move in this sort of positions, because in these positions actually one of the moves to cover this check is to either play bishop to d2 or to play this knight here from b to d2. White decided to play this because he had the idea to push this with a3 and then continue this development in this sort of way, but unfortunately this is not the best move. White is not losing, but simply he lost his advantage. c5 was played for black. Black now strikes in the center, and he also pressures white to decide what he will do next. Of course, d takes on c5 because this pawn was hanging, and we have bishop picking up on c5 for black. Game continued with bishop to b2. Right now white decided to fianchetto this bishop, obviously because his line is blocked here with this knight, and we have castle for black, and white also castles. Now Smyslov continues his normal development with knight to c6. We have knight to c3 now for white, another developing move, and right now we have a rook to c8. This pawn is still under pressure, and white has to be careful where he will go with his knight. We have c takes on d5. One of the reasons why this was played is simply because of this threat. We have e takes on d5, and right now first mistake of the position for white. This move looks tempting, but it's actually not the best option, is knight to a4, which gives black an advantage because now it seems like this bishop is endangered, but he can simply pull back. And also another thing here which is much more important, which leaves actually black's idea here, is to play knight to d4 as the main idea here. So you simply leave this bishop here. He can be retaken with this rook or this pawn, but your next threat is this pawn here, which is now weak. So white left this weakness here. Now better a way to play here as white, instead of knight to a4, you should actually play a4. So the idea behind this move is that on the next move you will jump with your knight here on b5, and you will block this really dangerous diagonal here. So that is the recommended continuation for white, but we have knight to a4, and right now Smyslov uses this to play knight to d4 with this threat we just talked about. Now knight to c3, white sees that he made a mistake and he needs to retreat to defend this position. It's now difficult to move this rook because everything is hanging, and also black has this open e-file as well. After this move we have queen to e7, again pressuring this pawn even more. Now we will go one move back. So instead of knight c3, I will show you what would happen if a rook to e1 was played. Now black has this nice and beautiful tactical sacrifice with knight to c2. Although it looks like this rook is hanging, this knight is hanging, pardon me. Of course, queen takes on c2 is a terrible mistake because bishop takes on f2, this covered check, and this queen will fall. So white saw that, and that is the reason why knight to c3 is played. Smyslov continues with queen to e7, pressuring this pawn again, and right now we have a rook to e1 on the board. And again, Smyslov sees that white's position is compromised and he can exploit that with the same idea, knight to c2. Now, as you can see, now queen can take this knight because there is no discovered check. This queen will not fall, but this is not the best move in this position. White decided to play rook to f1. Now we will see what would happen, and this is the main thing in this chess game. After knight to c2, what would happen if queen to c2 is played? Black continues with bishop takes on f2 check. And right now white has few options. For example, he can go with his king on h1, and after bishop takes on e1, rook takes on e1. Right now black has this move d4, again attacking this knight, and after knight jumps on c4 we have this trade, bishop taking on c4, b takes on c4, and d takes on c3, and this is a clearly one game for black. Black has one piece up and one pawn up, and this is a game over in these sort of positions, especially on the grandmaster levels. So after bishop to f2, there is other possibilities here for white. What happens if white decides to play king picks up on f2? Then we have knight to g4 check. And right now again black king has few options. If white king decides to go on f1, then we have this beautiful knight to e3 fork, and simply white's queen will fall. After knight to g4, if king g1 is played for white, then we have a beautiful checkmate attack with firstly queen to e3 check, king h1, because if you go on f1 there is a queen f2 immediate checkmate, knight to f2 check, king g1, knight to h3 check, king h1, queen g1 check, rook takes on g1, and beautiful smothered mate with knight f2. As you can see, this is also obviously not good, so what else can white play after knight to g4? Let's see. Let's say that white now plays king to f3. Then we have queen f6 check, sacrificing this knight, and after king picks up our knight we have this beautiful rook to c4 sacrifice check. And no matter what white does, in other words, if he takes with his pawn or with his knight, it's completely irrelevant to us. Let's say b takes on c4, bishop c8 check, and after king to h5, queen h6 is a spectacular checkmate. So as you can see, this is also not good for white, and that is why after knight to c2, a rook to f1 was played in the original position, simply sacrificing your rook. After knight takes on a1, queen takes on a1, rook f to d8 for black, bishop f3 is played for white, and bishop a3 was the last move of the game, because in this position Wolfgang Uhlmann decided to resign this game because this trade is gonna happen, the trade between these two bishops, and black is simply left with a piece up. So after this trade, as you can see, everything is hanging, the position is clear, and white simply doesn't have any counterplay. He's simply a piece down, and there is nothing you can do here. You can only resign, which white did. And this is how this game ended, and this is all I have prepared for you today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a comment, like, and share it with people who enjoy chess as well. As you know, word of mouth referrals like this really help my channel grow. Also, if you wish, you can donate to my channel. You can do this through the PayPal, or you can become a channel member. Each donation is much appreciated and will be listed in each and every of my new videos, guys. I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much. And of course, feel free to let me know your opinions about this game. Did you enjoy my analysis? Do you think I missed something? Do you enjoy the games of Vasily Smyslov? Did you have a chance to actually see some of those games? I really like reading your comments as always, and you know this. So thank you so much for being with me, and we will see each other in the next video. Have a nice night. Bye bye.